back in our Kentish Town kitchen. We're gonna do easy, quick stuffed mushrooms. These can be made vegan. We're not making them vegan today, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I've prepped some things to make it quicker. I like to use cremini mushrooms, and you just turn the mushroom, you just take a small knife and you take the stem out. You're gonna use the stem, okay? You're gonna chop up the stem, 1 shallot or a small onion, and a clove of garlic, all minced quite fine. You've got your mushrooms prepared where you've already taken the stems out, and those are ready to get stuffed. So into my saute pan of a little olive oil, I'm gonna add the onion or shallot. I like to use shallot. The chopped minced mushroom stems and the garlic. So we're just gonna saute the minced garlic, shallot or onion, and mushroom stems in some olive oil till it's cooked down and reduced. I'm gonna add a little salt and pepper while it's cooking, and we'll give that 5-7 minutes to cook. So while the mushrooms, garlic, and onion or shallot mixture is cooking, you can add anything into this. I like some chopped organic spinach. I'm just gonna roughly chop the leaves. I've got some chives, which I'm gonna finely mince. Some 4 or 5 sun-dried tomatoes chopped up, and you can leave them a little bit of the oil. And I'm gonna throw in probably a handful of pine nuts. And once that's all mixed in and the spinach is cooked down, I'm going to add a little bit of tomato paste and a tiny bit of crumbled feta. Now you can make it without the feta. You can use vegan Parmesan or Parmesan instead, or pecorino, instead of the feta cheese. And I probably will add a little bit of cumin seed as well. Okay, so our mushroom mixture is cooked. We're gonna throw the spinach in and the sun-dried tomatoes into that, and some of the chives. You can add the chives later, so they're fresher. And I'm just gonna cook that till the spinach wilts. You know, spinach cooks down, so I don't know. It's probably about 2 cups of chopped spinach. I don't really measure. I do this usually just to taste. And then I just use the stuffing for however many mushrooms I have. Little pepper. I'm gonna add a pinch of cumin seeds. I like a little bit of that flavor, especially when I use feta. So I'll do a little, crush those a little bit of cumin, not too much, it's really strong. I grew up in an Armenian household, so cumin was something that we used a lot. Okay, and that's really cooked down enough. So the spinach should be nicely wilted, still bright. You've got your sun-dried tomatoes chopped. I'm gonna add a little bit of tomato paste, which is gonna hold it all together. Handful of organic pine nuts. It gives a nice crunch. And I like to add a little bit of breadcrumbs. So this is breadcrumbs. I just make this with sourdough bread left over. I grill it and then grind it up in a food processor. That just sort of holds it together. And I'll sprinkle some more on top. When I'm done, mix that all up. And I'm gonna add some crumbled feta. Again, the feta's salty, so when you salt and season it, just adjust it. You don't need a lot. I just add a little bit. These aren't really supposed to be super cheesy, but again, you can do whatever you want. And it goes in. If it's a little dry, you can add a little olive oil, or a little more tomato paste. I'm gonna add a little olive oil, and I'm gonna give a little olive oil to my mushrooms. And I think now we're ready to stuff them. Okay, so now we're ready to stuff them. I just use a teaspoon and just kind of stuff them into the mushroom cap like that. You know, smooshing it all in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, You may have more than enough stuffing, you may run out. Just depends on how much of the stem you've taken out and how much you pack the stuffing in. And then I just put them on I line my baking sheet with a little bit of parchment. It just makes it easier to serve them, get them off the baking sheet. Easier cleanup. And they can get a little juicy when they cook. And I like the cremini mushrooms because they have a nice, rich brown color. So once these are stuffed, I'm gonna give a little bit more olive oil and check my seasoning, and then give a little bit of breadcrumb on top for crunch. You can grate some Parmesan on top if you want, I'm not going to. And then I bake these before I serve them, otherwise they tend to get a little bit soggy. And they're gonna go in like a 375 oven for about 10-15 minutes, or about 180 degrees Celsius.